as far as the VAL, inshallah. So on this, we'll be unpacking this discussion with Bridget Munnik, who's the center manager at Mashup Community Development. Bridget, welcome to Salam Media.
Thank you for inviting me. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. So we all have been seeing the headlines today about the rolling of army into the El Dorado Park and surrounding areas like Riverlea. As someone who's running a community center daily, what is the immediate feeling on the streets today? Is it relief or is it tension?
Well, yesterday when the army came, it was all, happy because the army is here. Today, there's no army, so the people are feeling frustrated because they only came yesterday and they know where to be found today. So some of the people feel that the army must bring law and order and not violence. That's what they said, during the day, because they say they came yesterday. They did yesterday afternoon. It was chaos. They actually caught some of the gangsters, the gunmen, so they were picked up. But today it's very quiet. And some people say that the army didn't get proper training. That's why they're not here today. So there's a lot of negativity today. But yesterday it was a good feeling.
It's really worrying, Bridget. A couple of days ago, we were speaking with the Chair Thomas of the IRS forensic investigation about this topic also, in terms of deploying the army into areas for curtailing gang violence. And there's a lot of things that come into it, especially when it comes into the economical side of it, the financials. And we see a staggering amount of money which actually is being pushed into these movements. However, now in terms of the situation, how has now the recent surge in gang violence and illegal mining like the Zamazamas specifically impacted your work at the Mashup Community Development Center? Have you had to close doors or alter your programs, or how were you forced to deal with it?
Okay, with our center, we have security on the premises, and what happened? The students they came to the center. But we looked after them. We took them to taxi ranks and stuff because it was really, really bad. Some of the other organizations, students couldn't come to the center, but with our center, all the students came and we kept them safe. But it was the gangsters. I mean, the ages of the gunmen. I would say the gunmen. It's 13 and 14, which is still children. They were walking around up and down in the street. Very difficult for us as a Mashup community development, but we firmly believe that we be positive. We do the positive side of the community. We didn't have incidents at the center. I must say thank God for that. But yeah, it was tense all the time. I mean, I lived in the middle of all the chaos. I was robbed, two guys wanted to rob in my own street. I mean, and I give them feeding. So that's how bad it was. With this, the drugs they are using, the youngsters. And it's so sad and it's so bad just to watch these youngsters just going down the drain. They don't have reasons, they don't have goals. And I'm asking myself, what is this world coming to? And where are we going to get ourselves into for the next year, 2027? Will there still be youngsters left in our communities?
Now, I mean, that's a really concerning, Bridget, especially when you're dealing with children. And we all understand very much that gang violence doesn't only stop with the gunmen, as you mentioned, but it also affects the onlookers. It affects anyone else. Just yesterday, actually, a friend of mine is an imam in Soweto, and one of his students was shot with a stray bullet. And now she's in intensive care at the moment. And you see such things happening, and the children now are fighting for their lives because of such incredible situations that we are put into because of obviously greed. Now, looking at the root cause of this, it can be multifold, but looking at Riverlea, as it faces high unemployment rates and lack of youth opportunities. While the army can stop a bullet, can they now stop also the reasons why a young person joins a gang or enters a mine shaft and becomes part of the Zamazama movement?
Uh, uh, just to correct, I'm in Westbury.
Oh, Westbury, yes.
I just heard of Riverlea.
No.
What's happening there on the news. But I live in Westbury.
Now, obviously, the same effect is similar in terms of gang violence in Westbury, in Riverlea, in New Clay, going down into Bosmont, and as far as going down into El Dorado Park. Now, how can we then, as a person running a developmental center, what would be a viable way to deal with such situations and creating opportunities for the youngsters so that they might see something else as an option instead of just picking up a gun and becoming part of the infamous gangs?
Yeah, like I said, at the Westbury Youth Center, we've replaced the guns and the drugs with skills development programs. That's one thing that one thing that we can use to tell the youngsters, listen here, there's more than this than guns. There's a future for you. We have other organizations also in our area, Westbury and surrounding areas, and I firmly believe that all of us as stakeholders, we must come together and we must look at what can we, as a community people, as the churches, as the schools, everybody. I think the lack of knowledge in our community is that, if we say strike, only 10 people pitch up. Only, 5 people pitch up because they don't understand what is the meaning of strike. There's a whole lot of knowledge that we must give our people here in the community. That's my view. And standing together, everybody, if we say tools down, everyone must tools down. No one must go out of the community and no one must come into the community. I must say we're not a violent community in Westbury. Okay, we burn tires and stuff like that, but we won't burn buildings because that's not the way out. The way out is to think positively, how are we going to get this right? Like the army, remember that the army came, I think a few years ago, they also came to the area.
Yeah.
And what happened when they left, everything went back to normal. So there is no, they say the army is here, the army is here. Yes, the army is here. But what is the army going to do and what is the police going to do? Because what the army did yesterday, the police were supposed to do that long time ago. I mean, we are crying in our communities. We are saying, help us as community policemen. Come to the party, City of Joburg, JMPV. Come to the party and help us as, leaders of the community, so that we can save our communities. It's not lost. I mean, we can still do a lot of things to lift up our communities and our youth in the community.
No, 100%, Bridget. And, I saw one comment earlier on that was saying that, there's no point of bringing the army into this because the police are more than capable to deal with it. But we've seen, obviously, in the past years and interactions with the police didn't really come out fruitful, especially the one incident that took place in Westbury about 6-7 years back, where a child, or I'll say the mother and her kids, were shot or involved in in the crossfire, and the children happened to die on the spot. And this whole incident then resulted into the strike and protests, etc. afterwards. Now, obviously, the question always does go back, and unfortunately, the point does go back to the issue of corruption. Now, if that's the case, then how are the people of Westbury and surrounding areas confident that this of being or seeing the army in the area can bring a change to it? Is there any sense of comfort with it, or are people still feeling like, it's just another day, we know how it's going to turn out again after they leave, like you just mentioned before? But is there any form that you can see that something might be different this time around?
Personally, my view is no, I can't even see a change. So if you came yesterday and you've gone today, it leaves a question mark to the community. Hence, the negativity of the people, it spoke the whole morning about the army. For me, I can just say, let's see what's happening. If they're here, if they're gone, it will go back to normal. We went through this. Maybe it will be a change for the community, but personally, I don't see that.
No, 100%. In closing, Bridget, what would be now your message to the mothers, the parents in these areas of Westbury, Riverlea, Eldorado Park, who are facing these constant issues whereby they are scared that their children might not even come back home from school because of the gang violences, and others also like yourself who experience being robbed in your own neighborhood, in your own street? How can we now advise the mothers, the families in this time of, the month of Ramadan, the month of peace and serenity, that to keep positive, hope in this time?
What I can say is for all the mothers, everything starts at home. Charity starts at home because we've seen it, we've heard it, that mothers also, parents also help their children to do the negativity side. So what I'm saying to mothers and parents to say, let's stand up and we don't entertain what your children are doing, first of all. Second of all, keep on praying. We are praying very hard for our community. And we always say, oh, God takes so long to answer our prayers, but we need to stay on our knees all the time and protect. With prayer, we protect our children and our families.
No, 100%. Bridget, thank you very much for your time. And we really pray that the situation is going to change this time around, where there will be some light, there will be some hope in completely eradicating the gang violences and having some sense of hope of seeing our children living a normal life and being able to play on the streets again without fear of bullets coming their way and causing fatalities. Thank you for your time, and we really hope that your development center does become a beacon of hope in the community as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, cheers.
Thank you. Bye.
Right, so it is almost 6 o'clock on the dot, actually just about a few seconds until we hit that time. And obviously, it is the spiritual hour now, where we're going to be looking at some nasa'ih from our ulama-i-kiram. Today, we are joined by Sheikh Al-Habib Muhammad Ijaz Shaban, who is a very alhamdulillah inspirational scholar in our walks, and alhamdulillah the connection that he has with the school of Tarim. Alhamdulillah, last year when we brought when the scholars were brought from Yemen, alhamdulillah he played a very instrumental part in making sure that connection was there. So we'll be with Sheikh Muhammad Ijaz inshallah after the break. So let's take a break, then we'll be back.